Okay, amid this COVID-19 crisis, all this other bullshit, blah, 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 we've come to see a lot of things in America happen. A lot of our constitutional rights are heavily compromised during this time. For instance, one place is Lansing, Michigan, which we'll get to in a minute. And there was something that happened, but it happened under the radar. Okay? The Title IX report. Now, a Title IX report is a college report in which an administrator or student is accused of wrongdoing. Now, under the Obama administration, the policy was if a male student is accused of sexual misconduct of any kind, whether it's sexual harassment or full-fledged rape, that student is expelled automatically, period. Period. There is nothing, just expelled. Done. And recently, during the COVID crisis, the Trump administration reversed that policy. Now here's the problem with that. They actually said that Joe Biden wrote that new policy out, which is amazing because the fucker can't even speak English these days, okay? But what happened was, with this automatic expulsion, if you file a false police report, you go to jail. If you file a false testimony in court, you go to prison. But under this Title IX report, if a woman accuses a man of sexual misconduct of any kind, he's automatically guilty, period. Period. And he gets either expelled, or if it's a faculty member, they get terminated. And there are vindictive women. Women are abusers too. Abusers are not only men. And what they realized was that vindictive women rationed. Filed false police report, jail. False court testimony, prison. Title IX report, say whatever I want. They ask no questions, and the guy's expelled immediately. And you had a slew, thousands of women who were accusing men of everything from rape to sexual, everything. The most famous was Mattress Girl. She carried a mattress all over campus to raise awareness for sexual assault. She lied. There was one individual who came to campus with a lawyer demanding a hearing. They said, "You're already expelled." There was one incident where the woman did file a Title IX and police report, and the police were investigating her for filing a false police report, and he was actually expelled from school while the police were investigating her for a false report. And it was a fucking slew. And it wasn't just rich, spoiled white kids. They had underprivileged black football players on a scholarship that were expelled. It got that out of control. It was going nuts. And under the Trump administration, we have a new policy. If a student is accused on campus of sexual misconduct, the college is required by law now to give the student an administrative hearing. The hearing requires some fact-finding people, which could be administrators, could be students, could be professors. It could be a combination of a professor, a student, an administrator, and a janitor. But there has to be some sort of body that will judge independently. The student is allowed to defend himself, which could mean either A, defending himself, or allowing a lawyer to come in. And they're also allowed to let others in. Like, for instance, you might have a school where the guy's best friend is in the law school department. He's practicing to be a lawyer, so he can come over and say, "I'm a student, I'm practicing law, I'm going to represent him." Okay? And there has to be evidence, and both sides get to be heard. Seems fair, doesn't it? Some people say, "Vinny, you're not entitled to due process because you're not in court." Okay. When you were expelled from school for sexual harassment, rape, anything like that, You will never, ever, ever go to school again, period. Never. Unless your father is the administrator of the school, or unless your father is an alumni member that donates enough money to put a new campus building up. Okay, you have to have a damn near family connection politically in order to get back into school. Okay, you will lose your degree. It doesn't matter if you are literally online for graduation and you get accused of sexual harassment. If you're expelled right then and there, no degree. Transcripts. A lot of people like myself go to college for 2 years community college, get credits, and then go finish year 3 and 4 university. Those credits will not be transferred, period. You will not get your transcripts. You will not get your credits. The college I went to, the university I went to, they took like 71 credits from me. Okay? Those credits will not be transferred. You've been expelled for, so even if your father does pull some strings to get into some nice school, no degree, no credits, you gotta start off from scratch. On top of that, sometimes campus newspapers, campus websites, the regular news, independently, this, that, the other thing, publish your name. They've had cases where the accuser's name was not published, but the accused's name was published. Okay? So, due process. So under the new guidelines, you are required to have an administrator, hearing, defense, evidence of some degree. I don't know how effective it will be, but it's a lot more effective than nothing. And unless there's proof beyond reasonable doubt, you cannot be expelled. You can't be. Tough shit, okay? This is America. Now, the reason why I brought up Lansing, Michigan. Larry Nassar, the gymnastics doctor, he worked for MSU, he worked for USAG, on and off, both at the same time. He abused girls for about 30 years. College girls, high school girls, elite gymnasts, runners, dancers, swimmers, volleyball players, okay? He even abused his best friend's daughter when she was 6, okay? He abused no less than 335 girls over a 30-year period. And a lot of the complaints fell on deaf ears. Now, after many years of abuse, the FBI was tipped off that he might be trafficking in child pornography. Okay? So they got a warrant to seize his computer. They went to his house, and they found out that his computer was thrown in the garbage. Okay? He was hoping the garbage guys would come and take it away. Now the computer's in the garbage. They don't need a warrant. They just pick it up and take it back with them. Bring it to the lab and get it examined. He had thousands and thousands and thousands of the nastiest child porn in the world. And it was a video of him in a pool abusing 2 girls. He was charged federally, and he pled guilty and was sentenced to 60 years in federal prison at the age of 54. Okay? Meanwhile, 2 counties in Michigan were investigating him for the abuse of the girls in the office. Now, most of the time, you have a guy who's awaiting trial for a very serious crime. If that guy is already in prison, they normally say, we'll let it go. He's already in prison for 30, 40, 50 years. He's not going to get out alive. We'll let it go. But the Michigan state courts decided to try him anyway. So 7 months after he was sentenced to 60 years in federal prison, he went to Michigan for 2 court trials. Both trials, he again pleads guilty. And he skips trial and goes directly to sentencing. And at the sentencing, they do what they call victim impact statements, which means the victim, after sentencing, after conviction rather, tells the judge to put the guy in prison, and they tell the guy what they think of him. Now, there were about 200 girls that testified. Some of them are the most famous girls in the world. Some of them, girls you never heard of before. One girl, who was unknown to anyone until this happened, was Rachel Denhollander. She was the last person to testify. She was the only person that testified in both courts, and her impact statement was 40 minutes long, which was 3 times longer than any other girl's impact statement. Okay, so you have a man who's serving 60 years in federal prison, and he's charged with 2 state cases on top of that, pleads guilty anyway, and out of the 200 plus girls that testify, they single out one girl as the poster child. And if you read the papers, she brought him down single-handedly. She is the sole focus of everyone's attention. Yeah, it's kind of like after World War II, if an American soldier shot a German POW, you'd say that American soldier won the war. Okay, it's ridiculous. Okay, she was one of over 200 people to testify after conviction, guilty plea rather. Okay, and he was already serving 6 decades anyway. So okay, now later that year, she used her fame to abuse Justice Kavanaugh. Horribly abuse him. Okay, she supported Blasey Ford. After Blasey Ford was caught lying, she accepted an award from Blasey Ford. After Justice Kavanaugh was exonerated, she wrote a letter saying that the Senate should never confirm him because he was accused. So in her mind, if a man is accused of a crime, he's guilty, period. There's no exoneration. The woman says the guy did it, period. And a man accused of a crime should be punished, period. She is a lawyer. Now, recently, she came into public view again. You didn't see it because of quarantine and all the bullshit going on. You know, what happens with this hand when you're washing this hand? Yeah. A couple of media outlets asked her opinion on the Denhollander forms. And she said it is horrifying that a survivor can be cross-examined by the rapist. Now, she does not like to be called a victim because victim is very demeaning, belittling. She prefers to be called a survivor. I'm not a victim of abuse. I'm a survivor of abuse. I overcame it. I am empowered. Yeah. Okay. So at one point, you're saying the survivor of abuse here, because victim is the mean word. The other point here, you're saying rapist. So she's a survivor, he's a rapist. Okay? First and foremost, you go from sexual harassment to rapist. You automatically say rapist. What if it's sexual harassment? What if it's unwelcome touching? Okay, what if it's voyeurism? Okay, what if it's revenge porn? What if it's a lie? You're not a rapist unless 12 people tell a judge you're a rapist, or unless you yourself tell the judge, I'm a rapist, I don't want my rights. That's it. There are 13 people in this world that can say that an American citizen is a rapist. First, a 12-person jury. Second, the person themselves, when they plead guilty and waive their rights. That's it. The legal term is complaining witness, accused rather, complaining witness, defendant. Okay? A complaining witness, defendant. The second part she didn't mention is that if a person is accused of anything greater than sexual harassment, sexual assault, voyeurism, revenge porn, rape, okay, child porn, that person should be turned over to the police. It should be a police matter, not a college matter. Okay? Yes. So you have an officer of the court who is saying the word survivor and rapist in the same sentence. And it's so devastating. Well, according to the Sixth Amendment, which you should have studied in law school, Missy, everyone is innocent. If you want them guilty, prove it. Period. She got lucky. Larry Nassar pled guilty, which meant that when she testified against him, her testimony was optional. Which meant when she testified against him, she was not questioned. Don't forget, if you accuse a person of a crime and they say they didn't do it, you have to take the witness stand and testify against them and be examined by both your lawyer and their lawyer. That's how things are done. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck. This is still America. And she's not looking at the aspect of what if the guy's innocent. No, she said he's guilty, period. Okay? It's devastating that a person has to be questioned by their rapist. Well, they can be questioned by their accused lawyer. Not the rapist lawyer, the accused lawyer. Okay? Who remembers the post-Civil War America? When women were, post-Civil War America, long story short. Even though the 14th Amendment guarantees blacks all their rights, many states passed unconstitutional laws which were not overturned until the 1960s. 90 years later. Yes. And one of those laws was it was illegal to mix the races. Blacks and whites could not marry, could not breed, could not date, could not do anything at all, period. And a lot of times you would have a white woman. Maybe she was in bed with the black guy because she thought it was exciting. Maybe she was in bed with the black guy because she loved him. Maybe she was in bed with the black guy because she was a whore. Or maybe the black guy didn't bow when she walked by. Maybe the black guy didn't call her Your Majesty. Maybe the black guy used to belong to her, but now he's free. So you would have women accuse black men of rape. Because if a woman is in bed with a black man, consensually, it's still illegal. Because the law said you cannot mix the races. So if she's white, he's black, and they're in bed together, it doesn't matter what she says. Because the fact that she's in bed with him means she's guilty of a felony. But if he's raping her, she's innocent. So you had a lot of black men in bed with white women for whatever reason, and the minute they got caught, the white girl said rape. Or the white girl didn't like the black guy and said rape anyway, even if he didn't touch her. That was the truth. And sometimes it will be an all-white jury. They'll put the black guy in prison forever, regardless of the facts. Sometimes the Ku Klux Klan would literally go down to the jail, pull the black guy and hang him from a tree. Gone with the Wind, the book, not the movie. You won't see it in the movie, the book. Gone with the Wind, the book, Margaret Mitchell justifies the Ku Klux Klan. She talks about this evil black man that raped a white woman. And the necessity of the Klan was the Klan went to the jail and hung the evil black man to prevent the horror of the white innocent girl having to testify against him. Never mind the fact that we have, evidence in court and innocence and guilt, jury, never mind that shit. Okay, what is the difference? What is the difference between a bunch of guys that put on white robes and white hoods and hang a black guy from a tree and someone that says if the man is accused, he's automatically guilty? The only difference is the noose. You are no different. You that say he is guilty, period. I don't want him to have a lawyer. I don't want him to defend himself. I don't want there to be a trial. I don't want there to be a hearing. I don't want innocent. I want guilty, period. Okay? You yourself might as well have a fucking white robe and a white hood and a fucking noose. Understand this. I was the victim of a false sexual harassment complaint, my friends. Nearly 20 years ago. It's still in my mind every day. Yes, it is. Now, Rachel, when I found out that a man was massaging Rachel's vagina, I said he was wrong. I said he's entitled to a trial. I said he's entitled to a lawyer. I said he has the right to defend himself. I said he has the right to face his accuser. But I said it was wrong. I said it is wrong for an adult man to massage a little girl's vagina. Period. The man accused of that crime is entitled to a lawyer and a trial. Okay? Now, that's the abuse she endured. So on one hand, I say the abuse she endured is wrong, period. I also said the accused is entitled to a lawyer and a trial, period. And if he's guilty, we'll prove it, period. But when it comes to my abuse, Rachel Denhollander's position is I am guilty. All men are guilty, period. This is an officer of the court, my friends. All men are guilty. All men are rapists. That is scum. Okay? That's why she is worse than Larry Nassar. Larry Nassar admitted to wrongdoing. Larry Nassar pled guilty in 3 separate court cases, 1 federal, 2 state, to avoid the victims from being cross-examined by his lawyers. Larry Nassar apologized to the victims on the way out the door. And Larry Nassar went to prison quietly and left them alone. Rachel Denhollander is not the least bit sorry for what she's done, period. In fact, the more she gets the opportunity, the more she doubles down on it. She accepted an award from a woman that committed perjury. She told the Senate they were wrong for putting a man on the court after he was exonerated for a crime. And she's saying that men in college have no right to self-defense, period. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. And because she is an abuse victim, no one has the balls to stand up to her. Well, you know what? Fuck that. I'll stand up to her. I don't give a shit. Thank you.